All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the most fundamental, most powerful features in all of JavaScript, the object. Seriously, this is the bedrock for how you organize data in pretty much any app you'll ever build, so getting this down is absolutely key.
So, take a look at this. On the left, you see the old way of doing things. You've got all this info about a user, name, age, city, but it's all scattered in separate variables. I mean, it works, sure, but imagine you have 10 or 100 pieces of data. It gets messy fast. It becomes a real tangled web to keep track of.
And this is exactly where objects come in to save the day. They bring order to that chaos. An object is just a neat little container where we can bundle all that related data together. Each piece of information gets a name, which we call a key, and its corresponding data, the value. It's a beautifully simple and organized way to structure things.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Think of an object as having a life cycle. There are really just 4 basic things you'll ever need to do with them. You'll create them, you'll read data from them, you'll update them, and sometimes you'll delete stuff from them.
And honestly, it's super straightforward. We make a new object with those curly braces. Then, to read a property, we just use dot notation. Like user.name. Want to change it? Simple. Just use the equal sign to assign a new value. And if you need to get rid of a property entirely, you just use the delete keyword. That's it.
Now that dot notation we just talked about is awesome, but it's got one little weakness. It only works for simple keys. No spaces, no hyphens, no funny business. So, what happens when you have a key that looks like this, with a space in it? How do you even access that?
Bracket notation to the rescue. By wrapping the key in quotes inside square brackets, you can handle pretty much anything. Spaces, special characters, you name it. And even cooler, this is how you can use a variable to dynamically look up a property. It's an incredibly powerful and flexible tool to have in your back pocket. All right, you need to lean in for this next part. We're going to talk about the single biggest gotcha that trips up almost every single developer when they first start working with objects. It seems simple, but it's so important to understand. It all comes down to how JavaScript compares things.
So let's start with something easy. If we compare simple things, what we call primitives, like numbers or strings, it works exactly how you'd expect. Is 10 equal to 10? Yep, true. No surprises there, right? This is called comparison by value.
But then, look at this. We have 2 objects that look completely 100% identical. Same key, same value. But when we ask JavaScript if they're equal, it says false. What is going on here? Why would it do that?
And here's the secret. This is the big reveal. When you create an object, you're not just storing its contents. You're creating a unique thing in your computer's memory. The variable is just a pointer, an address, to that spot in memory. So when you compare 2 objects, you're not asking, do these have the same stuff inside? You're asking, do these point to the exact same spot in memory? Since they're 2 separate objects, they have 2 different addresses. It's a fundamental concept called pass-by reference, and it's absolutely crucial to get your head around.
Okay, now that we've got that down, let's check out some really powerful, modern tools for working with objects. These are going to help you write code that's not just more efficient, but way cleaner, safer, and just better.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, we're pulling out values one by one. It's repetitive, it's clunky, but on the right, that's object destructuring. In one clean, beautiful line, we can unpack multiple values from that object right into their own variables. This is a game changer for readability.
And it gets even better. You can rename variables right as you pull them out, which is perfect if you already have a variable with the same name. And you can set a default value just in case that property doesn't exist on the object. That saves you from a ton of potential bugs down the road. Now, you're not alone when you work with objects. JavaScript gives you some awesome built-in helper methods. For example, if you ever need a list of all the property names in an object, boom, object.keys gives you an array of them. Need to merge 2 objects together? Object.assign has your back. And if you need to make sure an object can never be changed, object.freeze will lock it down tight.
Oh man, here's a bug that has probably cost developers thousands of hours. You try to access a property that's nested deep inside an object, right? But what if one of the middle pieces, like address in this case, doesn't even exist? What if it's undefined? Well, your whole app is going to throw a nasty error and crash.
But now, we have optional chaining. That little question mark and dot combo, it's a lifesaver. It basically tells JavaScript, hey, I'd like to get the city, but only if address actually exists. If it doesn't, no big deal, don't crash on me. Just give me back undefined. It's such a clean, safe way to dig into objects when you're not sure what's inside.
So here's the big takeaway.
Objects aren't just some random feature. They are the fundamental building blocks for structuring information in JavaScript. They let you turn messy, chaotic data into something clear, organized, and powerful. So the only question left is, what incredible, complex thing will you build with them first?